Coach, it's your first shutout win of the year in league play. At this point in the year, is there any, apart from the obvious benefit to your goal differential, is there any added psychological benefit to getting a result like that at home?
I think the psychological gain was just winning. I mean, the scoreline, yes, it's great. Steph deserves it. The defense plays well. All of that are minor. I think just getting the 3 points today was the intention, and that's the positive. You got 2 wins and 2 draws in the last 4 games, and you start to build some momentum. So that's what was important.
Other questions? Nico.
What's Victor Rodriguez's status, and what kind of happened to him?
Right hamstring injury. We'll assess him next week.
Yeah.
Looked like Kelvin signaled for his was it for injury or was it just tiredness?
He hasn't played in a while, coming off a hamstring strain, so that was just precaution. I think he was cramping up. He had put a lot into the game. It was hot out there. Injury risk at that time. I mean, we were already starting to get Jordy Delem up, just because we wanted to save him so he doesn't re-injure his hamstring.
Ari?
You obviously only got to see him play for a few minutes there, but what were your initial takeaways and impressions from Raul's debut? It's
good. Kid defended well. That was a joke, Ari. He's a talented player. He's good on the ball. You guys saw his ability, his technical ability is very clean. You know, his ability to kind of in certain moments just play, connect passes is, you know, stylistically like Liga MX, so that helped us in this particular game. He's, you know, goal dangerous. Some of his movement in the box, even though he didn't get the ball, was good. So overall, very pleased with the way his debut started.
Brian, so many things haven't gone your way this season. Now today, Nico's shot goes in, the video review call goes your way, you play a man up. Is there a sense among the guys that maybe things are finally starting to possibly turn around a little bit and go in your favor?
Yeah, Mark, I always say I learned from a lot of my coaches, mentors, but one always comes to mind, Jimmy Gabriel. He always said that your luck always bounces off at the end of the year, so I'd much rather that statement actually come true. So let's hope it continues. But you also make your own luck. I think the guys went out there today and performed at a high level. You know, Vancouver's desperate for points. You know, they rested a lot of their guys in their midweek game, so they were prepared for the match. The VAR call, that's exactly what it's intended for. Because Chad knew, you saw right away when it hit Chad, he was like, it hit me here. So if the ref calls that penalty, no VAR, you know, then they get a penalty, a chance to score. So VAR did its job. As far as Nico's shots are concerned, you know, I can say against LAFC in the home opener, shot from distance, you know, the ball moves. Nico's ball was moving. So I wouldn't say that's luck. I would say that that's just a guy hitting the ball, and it was able to move twice, and it caught Marinovic by surprise.
Matt?
How important was Nico's opener?
The penalty?
Yeah, for the sense of the game and
well, it's always good to score early. I mean, it's always helpful. I felt better after he scored a second, and I wish he would have scored a third, and then I really would have been happy.
Are you happy with this result? And,
of course.
Did you feel a buzz in the crowd, whether it was Rui Diaz or a couple goals over one of your biggest rivals?
Well, I felt a buzz in the locker room all week in training. You have to give all credit to the players. They're the ones that haven't given up. They're the ones that aren't finished yet. They're the ones that put the hard work in. I have to remind them every now and again that, you know, all the hard work they do shouldn't go to waste, but it's all on them. That's where the buzz came from. That's where the buzz starts anyway, and certainly the crowd feeds off the team, and the team feeds off the crowd.
Jason?
You've talked about some areas that you want Nubu to work on. How do you think he looked today?
Well, he was good, and you know, he still has a couple of plays where you scratch your head a little bit, but the kid is learning. He's doing well. He's a physical specimen. So, outside of the obvious errors, he's done well. I think what's always, and it's just human nature, you always see the one bad pass, or you always see the one bad control, and that's easy to see. What's harder to see are some of the nuances of the game that he is improving in, and so that's what we look for on tape, and that's where we'll coach him up next week.
Felipe?
So, Coach, 3 games back, the team was struggling, and then you went away, and one of the games you play Atlanta, which is the best team in the league, and then you come home and win 3 points. What does that mean for you, for the team, when the second half of the season starts?
Well, I think we put ourselves in such a hole that every point is critical, whether it's 1 point in Atlanta, 3 points at home. Every point that we can collect is vital for us to make the playoffs. So what it does, again, over the course of the 4 games, starting with the win in Colorado, it just gives you some momentum, and it gives the guys more belief that they can persevere under what has been a challenging season. I mean, it hasn't been easy so far. And so they've, again, overcome many obstacles to put themselves in a position where if we win a couple more games, then maybe we really have a legitimate chance of catching teams and making the playoffs again.
Jeff?
Do you hope to see how Clint might look today with paired with Rui Diaz out on the field, and if so, why?
Absolutely, yes. That was one of my intentions going in. But again, the game of soccer is funny. So the injury to Victor right away changed kind of the way we were processing the game, or from our original plan, I would say. And then as the game progressed, 2-0's a very dangerous lead. How do you bring guys in? We knew we wanted to get Raul in. Then, getting Clint in. We were worried about Kelvin's hamstring. There were different factors that prevented that. But yes, that was definitely one of the scenarios that I would have liked to have happen.
Time for a few follow-ups. Harvey, you still have one?
Coach, in the 68th minute, Raul makes that run in behind Waston. Ladera picks his head up and hits him the through ball on the ground. Is that something you feel like the attack has been missing this year, at least since Jordan went down? And how's it going to change how defenses have to look at you guys?
Well, I would say that Will Bruin has made some of those runs. I would say that, the game in Toronto, there's other times when Will has provided us that, maybe not on a consistent basis because Will is more of a back-to-goal number 9. How Rui Diaz fits in and what is his skill set, yes, is to be determined, and yes, I absolutely love that soccer play. What I would say the common denominator is that Nico always has been a good guy about picking his head up and trying to play guys in. It's almost like, he needs to just balance that killer ball versus possession, which I thought he did a really good job of today. I loved the soccer today. I thought there was many moments of good possession that didn't end up with a goal, and there was many moments of good transition where we were able to get, quality attacks. Especially in the first half when Victor was gone, because that's a bummer there, because he was picking the ball up and really driving at them. So that was good for me as well.
John, you still have one?
Yeah. Nico seemed to be really on his game today. Could you speak a few words about how you felt he performed and how he helps this team?
Well, he's been good ever since he's been here at this club. I mean, yes, there's going to be the odd game, and there's you can't be perfect every game. But, he's always put his heart and soul into the games. That's one of his greatest strengths. And, today he was rewarded with 2 goals. But he does a lot of the other things that might not end up on the score sheet. He covers the most distance consistently in our group. Never gives up, never quits. Those are all attributes that we're happy to have here at the Sounders.
Any other questions? Nico, you have one?
Yeah, you brought in Ozzy. What was the intent when Victor came off, and Are you kind of limiting his play time as he comes from an injury, or what's Ozzy's?
Well, how you incorporate players back into the group or start to incorporate players like Rui Diaz is always tricky. You never know which way to go, start them, not start them. How do you manage their minutes? How do you get them up to speed? There's certainly lots of nuances there. What we felt when the decision needed to be made at that point in the game, we were ahead. And what you saw today was vintage Ozzy in the sense that he was able to really connect a bunch of passes. You know, he had a couple clean takeaways. I mean, he won the ball in some good moments. But one of his strengths is keeping good possession. You know, his passing percentage is always very high. And that's the reason why I brought him on the game in that moment, because I felt we needed some more possession.
Anything else from you guys here? One or two from the Sports Media Institute in the back, anything? Steve Kelly?
Coach, in your words, how do you think Schmetzer did after playing the full 90 minutes after coming back from Russia in the World Cup?
That's always a tricky one as well. It's actually a really good question. Lots of guys come back from the World Cup mentally exhausted. It's a big deal. It's a big event. And certainly when I spoke to Gustav, he echoed some of those comments. He was physically and mentally challenged by the World Cup, but he came back and had a very good performance for the Seattle Sounders, and sometimes that's challenging. I thought he played well. I thought he played steady, simple, and that's the best way to start if you're coming back off something like, you know, returning from the World Cup in a big event.
One more, you got one?
Coach, how did the Vancouver Whitecaps going down to 10 men impact the game mentally?
Mentally? Well, I think our guys hopefully didn't let off the gas too much. They have to still stay focused because you cannot ever lose focus for 90 minutes. But it certainly was a blow to them. You could see they were deflated. They had put a lot into the game. It was hot. They were working. And then to go down a man, it's challenging. We have played down a man a couple times this year, and it's never easy. So you don't want that to happen. Certainly gives the team that's up 2-0 a really good chance of closing out the game.